Well, we're here at Warden Law for Event 5 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships, and great to be joined this weekend by Alice Powell. Alice, great to have you here in the North East. What brings you to Karting North East?
I'm here with Ella Stevens this weekend and just overseeing Lizzie Mentier. She's part of the Alpine Race Her programme, so killing two birds with one stone, travelling all this way.
I say you're wearing many hats in motorsport at the moment. You're also ambassador for the FIA Girls on Track programme. We'll start with that. What makes it so important that the Girls on Track programme is something that dedicates a lot of your time?
I think just raising awareness. You know, there's still a lot of young girls or young fans that I see about paddocks, whether it be in a karting paddock, but mainly in the car paddocks, that don't quite sort of understand if they can race or not, which still sounds quite surprising to say to this day. And I think it's just raising that awareness that they can still participate. And I know some girls that have tried karting and not enjoyed it, but still love watching it. And I think what the beauty of Girls on Track is that it introduced them into so many different aspects of motorsport. You'll know that it's not just about the driver. There's a whole team around them, whether it's the mechanics, the engineers. You know, when you get higher up the ladder, you've got the strategists, you've got the marketing side of things. And I think it's just making them aware that it's not just about the drivers. The driver's just one person. There's a lot of people, especially in Formula One, you know, you can have 400, 500 people at a factory that make those two cars go round. And when I go to some of the Girls on Track events, it's so nice to see a big smile on all of the girls' faces. They all go away really, really happy and actually all wanting to take part in sport. And a lot of them actually are really interested in the engineering side, which is really good.
I say, as a former engineer myself, it's been great to see that take-up of women coming into that part of the sport growing. What do you think is the aim as well for the next few years? Where can we go from here?
I think it's about obviously increasing participation on track. There's a lot of girls that are racing in the British Kart Championships. Probably, I think actually most of your classes now will have a female, which is great. Certainly wasn't like that when I was karting a long time ago. But I think also increasing the participation off track and, you know, making the girls aware, as I just said, that they can participate in the sport, but they can also be outside and you know, in the background, which is, you know, probably one of the most important parts of it. Absolutely.
Your own karting career, what do you remember from it? What advice would you give to those looking into karting across the different categories today?
Well, I was just saying to Ella, actually, I think the last time I came here was early 2000s when I was in cadet, so I don't remember too much. I just remember the big hill in the first sector. But karting is so important to teach those young drivers, you know, about managing tyres, especially in some of the senior categories like KZ, for example, overtaking, kart setup as well, giving back feedback. It all starts at a really, really young age, and they all take everything that they learn from karting into cars. You know, Lewis Hamilton, he's one that always talks about karting and how important it is to the young drivers. So I always push the drivers, even that race in cars, to go back into karting. And you still see like Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri. They all go back and go into karting, and it's a real good test of fitness as well, especially obviously the senior classes and KZ too.
And you work with the Alpine Race Her programme as well, going from strength to strength. Got to mention Albie Pulling, you know, big star from this scene a few years ago, having a tremendous season in F1 Academy. Her as an example, how much do you think is that providing a platform for drivers here this weekend or drivers looking to be on the grid in future years of like, yes, that's something that I can achieve now?
Yeah, it's massive, and I'm sure most young girls in this paddock want to achieve getting to F1 Academy, and it's a stepping stone for them to then continue into their motorsport career, whether it happens to be moving into F3, F2, or whether they spring off into GTs. But, you know, Abby obviously was a British karting champion, and she's racing at the front of British F4 and F1 Academy. So it just shows, I think, as well, the level of how high British karting is. You know, we've got plenty of drivers that have moved up from karting and are doing very well in cars. But it's great that a lot of the young girls that are racing here are aspiring to be in that championship one day.
As you say, you're with Ella Stevens in KZ2 this weekend, and Lizzie Mentier as well has been doing some cracking pace in free practice earlier on today. From your perspective, again, on the other side of the steering wheel now, what does a weekend look like? What kind of tips are you trying to give them to bring them further on?
I think it's just, obviously, when you're in that kart, you're sort of in the zone, and luckily here we've got some big banks we can go up and take a look at. And it's just, karting's so close. The times are extremely, extremely close. And I think it's one small mistake, can cost you a tenth, and that can be a good handful of places in the British Kart Championship. So it's just trying to iron out sort of those mistakes, especially the junior max class. There's just one small mistake in a race, and that can put you way down because it's such a large field. And then with Ella, for example, the KZs have got long races, and again, they've got gears. One small mistake there, and you miss a gear or you drop too low in the revs, and it can really then bog you out of the corners. So I think for those two drivers, it's just ironing out, trying to be consistent. It's obviously the first round for the KZ. It's still early days for the junior max. Both Ella and Lizzie, extremely fast, talented drivers that are racing at the front of both of their classes. So just making sure they iron out the mistakes and keep the consistency, and the pace is already there.
Absolutely. For anyone watching at home, how's best for them to get involved with the Girls on Track program?
Well, head to the Girls on Track, FI Girls on Track website. Plenty of information. I know lots of schools around the UK like to get involved. If your school's not getting involved, try and push them to get involved, because I know that a lot of the girls that come from the schools and they go to the events absolutely love it and have a great time and get into those STEM subjects. So there's plenty of opportunities for all girls at different ages there.
Fantastic. Alice, thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy with your work here this weekend, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you very much.